Can a fault be overdue to have an earthquake? No. Things that can be overdue: your phone bill, your chemistry homework, a baby. A fault isn't like that. So to think that it's overdue means it has to stick to a set schedule. And if it doesn't happen by a particular time, then it's late. That's not really the way that works. And to understand why, first we need to understand how we even know how often earthquakes occur on different faults. One of the ways we can do that is through something called paleoseismology, or the study of ancient earthquakes. In that case, we go to an active fault, we dig down inside of the fault, and we look for disturbances in the geologic record, in the layers of dirt and rock, that show that past earthquakes have occurred. We see all of these earthquakes that are in there, and then we use different techniques in order to date the soils that were disturbed. Usually we use C14 or those types of methods. The issue is that there's uncertainty in all kinds of different parts of this process. First, we are looking at the layers that have been disturbed, but we don't know that every earthquake left a mark. We don't know that we are actually interpreting everything correctly. There's a human error element that's in there. We do our very best, and we're pretty good at it, but there's uncertainty involved. Also, there's uncertainty in the dating techniques. Carbon-14 will give you a date, but there's like a window, right? It could be plus or minus 50 years. So there's uncertainty in the timing just from the dating itself. And then there's uncertainty in how the faults actually act. We assume that a lot of faults exhibit characteristic earthquake behavior, like this, where you have stress and strain that are building up through time. Eventually it overcomes the strength of the rocks and they will break in an earthquake. That relieves the stress and strain, and then the process starts again. Do many faults appear to behave this way? Yes. Do they always behave this way? There's also evidence that some faults don't behave this way at all. Sometimes we have evidence that earthquakes will actually cluster in space and time. So we don't exactly know exactly how every fault is going to act all the time. So that's another source of uncertainty. So when we say the southern San Andreas has earthquakes every 150 years, that's an estimate, okay? So the fault isn't overdue. What we should say instead is the fault is ready. It's locked and loaded. We know that earthquakes have occurred here in the past. We know they're going to occur here in the future. We know that that stress and strain is building. We can see it in GPS instruments and in other ways, but we don't know exactly when that earthquake will happen. So we just need to be ready all the time. So please, let's stop with talking about the fault being overdue. It's not a baby.